Hi guys, it's me, Joseph Anderson again, and for this video that I will be dedicating to my birthday month of June in the year 2025, I shall be talking about an entry in a movie franchise that I particularly like, and that being The Fast and the Furious 6. The Quest for More Money. This movie is it started good and strong with more realistic driving and movie physics and stuff, but then it just got off the rails. And I like the story of it all, and but to a certain point when things go back to crazy. And we also see the return of Michelle Rodriguez character, Letty, in this movie, where I thought that in the last one she died early on, but apparently not. I'll get into that in a minute. But before I get into that, I gotta talk to you about the movie itself. This is the only one in the franchise that I have of a Blu-ray, and when I saw the video for this, I saw the movie version of it. That's the extended version of it. And let me just tell you something about that for a minute. I looked up the time for the movie in both the theatrical and the extended cuts, because I'm kind of curious to see that kind of stuff. And let me read this thing off the back cover of this. Let's see. The theatrical version is 2 hours and 11 minutes. Already too long, but I can deal with it. The extended version, 2 hours and 11 minutes. I was like, okay, what the fuck? Now, why would they make the extended cut the exact same time as the theatrical cut? There's no point in having both versions of this in that case, unless it's some kind of typo or something rather on the back cover of this little gem of a masterpiece, whether you like it or not. So also another thing too is that I believe that this is the last Fast and the Furious movie that starred Paul Walker before he tragically died in a car accident of all things. So R.I.P. to him. But it's really hard because in this movie they also have like a bonus feature or something where you can look up like footage from the next movie, because they were so confident this last ride would be so popular to want another movie. In retrospect, I kind of think the last ride thing was like kind of insensitive, being that what happened to Paul Walker and stuff. But yeah, that's like the big catchphrase for these movies. Like, this will be the last ride. This will be the last time that we're gonna be doing something like this until the next box office need for paychecks and stuff. Also, I look forward to the day when all the actors in the 70s and 80s, when they had to use wheelchairs and scooters and had to do all kinds of fancy tricks with them. That'd be some funny shit. I would like that. And no, I wouldn't be offended by it whatsoever. I'm the one that made the joke about Grand Theft Auto involving a retirement community where you actually try to jack wheelchairs. That would have been funny shit too. I mean, they have all the other shit in it where they kill prostitutes, rob people, have sexual exploits and all that. I would think a wheelchair robbery would be pretty funny too. Very appropriate. But they haven't done it yet. Are we not good enough for you guys to make fun of? And make fun of everything else in the world? Why not make fun of disabled people on top of that? But I'm getting off topic here. Let me talk about this wonderful, wonderful movie. I believe that I think that after Paul Walker passed away, I believe that his brother took over all the stunt work and stuff for him. So number 7, they do have Paul Walker brother, guy's name offhand, but his brother doing the physical acting of the Fast and Furious 7, I believe. Anyway, when I get to that movie, I'm gonna try to spot the differences in the body type and face and stuff like that between Paul Walker and his brother. So we see all the famous people in this movie that we get associated with, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which is still a badass all-American police officer, like a special agent and all that. We get Vin Diesel, of course, which I love Vin Diesel in these movies, even though his speech can be kind of corny and stuff about family and things like that. And of course, Brian O'Connor, played by Paul Walker. We have the aforementioned Michelle Rodriguez, who plays Letty. And we have a newcomer like Danny Carrera. He's the girl from the Deadpool 2 movie. It's actually really, really awesome. We also have Jack Gadot as I forgot her name of it. We have Kang Sung as Han, old fan favorite. By the way, when they do a sneak peek of what happened in number 7, they hadn't died, which goes in contradiction of what happens in Tokyo Drift. It's still my favorite movie of all time, but in the franchise, but still. So we have him in the lineup. Oh, like I said, I'll get into the whole Michelle Rodriguez thing later on. So we see a very interesting thing where they have Brian O'Connor and Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel, as he's talking with him, and of course me is in the living room ready to give birth to the kid. And it's very kind of funny because he says like once you go to the delivery room doors, your life will change. No more this fast life for us and all that. And I know you'll be a good father and stuff. So he says, how do you know that? Because I'll be there to kick your ass if you're not. That's a good way to ensure good family relations. The threat of corporal punishment by a big hulking Dominic Toretto. You'll want to get on his bad side, as you can tell. So anyway, they have her deliver the baby, Mia, and then they receive a call from somebody, from Dwayne The Rock Johnson saying that they need help with taking care of an international arms dealer or something or other. And Dominic Toretto heeds a call. He wants full pardons for all the teammates and all that, which sounds like a good deal, but this is where reality kind of blurs a little bit. Not to the point of being snapped in two, but just blurs, because no law enforcement officer or no law enforcement agency would ever team up with bad guys or most wanted people. That just don't happen, because I would imagine that anyone that's on the good guy side would be able to find their own teammates, their own members of society, which as good drivers as Dominic Toretto and his family for that. So that's the first thing. And second of all, he actually called upon Brian O'Connor to do his work with him, which I find very weird, because he just made a big stink about, that you gotta protect kids, you gotta protect Mia, we gotta leave this life behind us and all that. Once you enter the living room, that's it. There's no more of this fast life and stuff. So it's like, if you don't want anything to happen to your brother-in-law now, because otherwise you kill him, what's the purpose of bringing him along with you? It's like Al Pacino said that when I get back out, you gotta pull me back into it. Yeah, that's not right. If anything was to happen to Brian during the whole thing, Mia would be left with her husband. It would be fatherless. And then Dominic Toretto would have anyone to drive with. So that is kind of fucked up for that. But they do get the people involved, all the Ludacris back and all that, and all the Han and Jack Godot are back together again. They've been together. And the funny is that, how most people make a criticism that the women in this movie are seen as like eye candy or not very developed and stuff like that, except for a few people like Michelle Rodriguez and Jack Godot, all that other stuff, and maybe Mia too. But I would say that they do a disservice to women on the two on one more front. That being when they have a Ludacris over there with his fancy car and stuff, and then they have all the women over there just wanting his money, and they go nuts whenever ATM machine goes haywire on his command, and so shooting at random money at them. So right there are no men in the shot, but there are lots of women in bikinis, going nuts over the money, trying to grab as much as they can. Where they're gonna put, I have no idea, but that just kind of shows like the greed of women, which is not a very good way to portray women at all. I mean, sure there are some women like that, but to portray them as just that and just have a bunch of women with no men is just wrong to do that. So they pull all the policy together, all the different people together to try to work with law enforcement for a type of for pardons for everybody. And Gina Carrera is also working for law enforcement, working for The Rock, and they have to try to get this guy from about with the big high tech chip that he wants. High tech computer chip with a few $1 billion or something. So he has Letty in there in his crew, to which we all want to know what happened to Letty after she died. They all went to the funeral, to her funeral. No, the fancy tuner cars and all that. And yet they do have flashbacks of the other previous movies. Not so good, but they did have the other movies, with the jumps and with the game mechanics and the funeral service and other things, and the big oil tanker type heist. So they have all that in there, and we see that with Letty, she's on the force of the bad guys in this case. But then she ends up fighting with Gina Carrera. Now, all the actresses out there, all the characters out there, I believe that she's the only one that in real life can kick Gina Carrera's ass. Not once, but twice in the same movie. Because she's Michelle Rodriguez is always typecast as a badass. And rightfully so. She can kick my ass. She can kick probably half the guys at my gym's ass too. And she is a complete badass in this movie. And if she beats up Gina Carrera, even though Gina Carrera does her wrestling moves and stuff like a very lot. Like, I believe that Gina was at one point a woman wrestler, which is freaking awesome. Really slot to Miss Rodriguez. And that I can't believe that she would really be like her ass. Also, somebody once said that Michelle Rodriguez can when someone said that her character Letty is one tough bitch and that she don't die very easily. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 second that person was actually referring to the actual character Letty. I think she was talking about the actual actress Michelle Rodriguez, because she's just such a badass. Now, I'm sure that when they make Fast and the Furious 100, when she's like 90 years old, I'm sure that Michelle Rodriguez will still be driving around and kicking people out. So, and remember when I said about the wheelchairs and the scooters? Yeah, she'll be hijacking all the scooters and people and stuff and taking them all to her hideout and all that. She will always be remembered as a legendary movie badass. I want to get an autograph one day until the weekend. Anyway, she was also in the game Halo 2, I mean, and I don't want to know what other game she was in, but I know she was in that one as a voice for one of the badass Marines. So, she has been around in a few things. In any case, they have realistic car chases in this movie, right up until they do a thing with the main bad guy using like a ramp car to disorient the chasers and stuff. And they use a ramp car to ramp other cars. Like, basically, it's a go-kart with your pleat in the front to like make like a incline for drivers by to ramp off and get disoriented and flip over and that kind of thing. So he does it. They also have this weird modification in the car where it can going forward like this, and then you can easily turn 90 degrees or close to an 90-degree angle while the car is still facing forward. So I don't know if that's a real modification. They just did that for the movie, but yeah. The car is actually pretty flimsy. Besides they use it in the movie, and later on when they do it with a woman driving, no less, they show that it's easily flippable and destructible in that way. But still, it's one of those type of things where with the rim car, it's more of a bending rules of reality rather than snapping into again. You can kind of buy it, but it's kind of like it's on the border of being kind of silly and stupid. So then they show you on that the reason why Letty is on the bedside and then she wants to shoot Dominic for obvious reasons. He hits the guy, but he's still trying to think that she's one of them, that she's a good person and she remembers all of that. But they do that thing where it's kind of stereotypical at this point where instead of actually dying, she ends up talking to the guy that was going to shoot her, and he shoots the car behind her, and she flies over into the bush or off the roadway and hits her head on a rock or something and gets amnesia from it. So, it's kind of overused in like movies and cinema where someone doesn't die, they have a coma. It's kind of like a soap opera, like say, General Hospital or One Life to Live, where someone gets into a coma and then they forget certain things. But the point is, she knows how to drive very good. She knows how to fight very good in close combat. But she can't remember her identity, or her lovers, or her friends, or family, or any of that. So that's kind of weird. It's kind of like a very soap opera like use of amnesia, where it's very spotty. I'm not a medical professional on that, but I'm gonna call bullshit on that. So then we get into the more international everything, about driving and all that stuff. Gotta make a big plan to take this guy down and blah 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 and all that other stuff. And then we get more cars and more races. So as the movie progresses, Dominic is getting closer to Letty, trying to show her, who he is, the relationship. Meanwhile, he's also been getting around too, more ways than one with other women. So I guess that's kind of out of the window too. I guess he must not feel guilty because I thought you were in a coma. I think you were dead. And then I'd like to see if she ever finds out that he was cheating on her, or if he was cheating on her because she thought she was dead. I would like to see her reaction to that. I bet it ain't gonna be too pretty. How many women have you been with? Oh, let's see. There was that one, and this one. Oops. I'm sorry, Letty. Don't look at me like you did in Resident Evil. In the movie Resident Evil. I know how you look at me like that. Yeah, it turned out that Dominic Toretto was a little bit of a mid-whore. So anyway, they end up, among other things, racing together. He beats her in a race using American muscle cars in, I think, London at that point. So they're the only people in London, in England, with muscle cars. Our American guys are the only people with muscle cars. And it's like, and that strikes me as very weird. I would imagine that it'd be kind of rare to see American cars in London and Europe in general. But to see them all concentrated in one group, kind of hard to believe. And what's even hard to believe, they got the drug dealer from number 5, Fast and Furious 5, come in, Tuco, I think his name was. Well, not really, but I'm calling him Tuco because it was crazy. And he talked to Brian and gets drugged by Brian and stuff in prison. And that was actually really funny. He can get beat up by Brian, even though the reverse was true and all that. He was more subdued in this movie. Maybe because he was in prison and stuff. But in any case, Lee drives with, Lee does a race with, Dominic. And Dominic wins, so she's, okay, you're okay by my book, come with me. And all that. So I guess they talk to each other, and she said, you're okay, and all that stuff. And they talk about, their relationship, I guess, and he jogs her memory of that, of all the hikes and all the good stuff that they had together and all the other stuff. And I didn't mean to get me with so many women, because I'm a mid-heart, I can't control myself. So, she does all that. Then she becomes a good guy, or a good girl again. Which, as you all know, Michelle Rodriguez is not a good girl in real life. But, she's just big of a badass as Letty in this movie. So anyway, reality still hasn't been broken this much. Okay, so then they put together, all the people put in together a big plan to get rid of this guy, to capture him and stuff, with the Tuco drug dealer. And, they figure a drive on a desert road to catch this guy, and they use like a tight rope across the highway to drive people up the cars and stuff in the convoy. And they use this in Saturday morning cartoons in which someone drives into the wire, gets tripped up, and then they go, and then they fall to the ground. And the weird thing is that this actually works. Now, I would like to call bullshit on this, because number one, I would think that the wheel of a car would easily decimate any steel wire going across there, and any cable wouldn't be strong enough to handle the weight of a vehicle crashing into it. Not only that, but a military vehicle, so they're tougher than an average car. So, that would be this desert scene that's portrayed on the back cover here. So I'm like, okay, it might be silly, but I'm buying it so far. Seems kind of realistic, a little bit silly. And then all reality is thrown out the window, because then after the semi truck is captured on this little garrote wire there, a tank brought by the side of bust out of the chair and starts ravaging the highway. Now this was a surprise because I knew there was a tank in the franchise, but I didn't know that it was this movie. And the tank was freaking awesome. And I don't know per se the specifications of a tank as far as speed goes, but I'm gonna call bullshit that this thing was moving so fast. This thing was freaking booking it down the highway. We did not collapse, did not show any strain on it because of tank. You think that there'd be like a tank tread marks on the highway itself, but but no, you did show booking on the highway at whatever 50 or 60 miles an hour, and I'm like, okay, how is it gonna be a tank? You know, every other movie has tanks with it. Every other game at least has tanks where they destroy a car on impact. And they do. They totally being impacted and crushing any cars. Except for Tyrese's car, a Mustang. Which I don't know if it's slow power or because it's a Mustang, but it showed that tank actually running up the front of the back of the vehicle as it's ramp in the front of it. It reminded me of that book, the scene from Christine with the bulldozer, and Christine trying to get away from the bulldozer, but the bulldozer is being pissed and trying to mount it from behind. Not doing too much of that. But they show this, and then they show it eventually succumbing to it, to being destroyed. But when Tyrese jumps out of it, and it's very kind of funny that in the course of it, he ends up tying the car to the back, to the main cannon on this thing, on the big weapon. I think that this might have been before Lay turned over to the good side, I think. So then they do the thing where they do Superman jumps from one to another, from one car to another car, which is really realistic. I gotta say, someone put some Super Mario sound effects in there. So Lily is saved by Dominic, of course, by doing a super jump across the highways. You know, it's one of those things that one in the highway is one direction, and it's separated by pole pillars, and then the other half of the bridge goes the other direction. So Lily is saved by Dr. Toretto. And everything will happen because she becomes good then, and Gina Carano becomes a bad girl. So it's very weird that because when he attaches that cable to the tank cannon, and then the car ends up going into like an anchor position, very similar to the Fast 5 movie with bank vault and stuff. I think that the Tuco might have been from them before. Well, wherever. So anyway, the tank is being pulled by this broken ass car connected by a cable. I would think that the cable was snapped or whatever. It might have been made by Diamond Filament, like in Futurama. So then he gets caught on one of those propellers, and then end up getting taking the tank down like another cartoon that happened like that. Also, the fact that they used the tank to destroy part of the bridge, another bridge. Well, by that time when they did the episode of World's Scariest Police Chases, in which a guy with a tank was trying to do the same thing to another bridge. And it was really scary. He didn't have the excuse me. He didn't have the actual cannon mechanics there, but it was really bad. So anyway, they do this, then everyone takes him into jail, they arrest him and everything, and he then found a rock and stuff. And it's really funny because he then threatens to take out Mia and his kid and all Brian's loved ones, which is a bad mistake. So he uses that as leverage to get him to go free, and it's great. It works out good for him for the temporary reason, because then they have Mia and the kid that run around and stuff, and then she ends up hitting the kid off to somebody, the baby off to somebody, and then somebody runs away. So the kid's safe, but with friends. And Mia gets caught. And then that guy uses that for leverage to capture to go free with this $1 billion chip or something. So then Dina Carrera goes with the bad guys again. Why should Air came up and fight Lily? So they all figured to go up this person last minute big runway with a big like Russian, I'm assuming, plane that's gonna try to touch down and take off right when they get right when they board the plane with the cars, of course. And this being the last big finish the movie, the big climax. And right there, you thought that the situation was horrible as far as reality goes and physics go. This goes right off the deep end, because I can't believe how absurd some of these songs are. And the actual combat between Dominic Toretto and the bad guy and his Russian, I guess, muscle man, I can buy that. Even though they do some of the super jumps and Dominic does help out with taking him down with the rock help and stuff, but it's the car stuff outside just stupid, because they use some of the guns and stuff that they used to disrupt the electronics on the cars, kind of like they did in previous movies, but it was more of a cheating way. Bad driving, so I'm going to disable the car, but with my electronic devices, and they shoot these at the plane. So it's kind of okay. How do you like it? How do you like that I'm disabling your vehicle like this? You don't like it so much, do you? So, unfortunately, Gal Gadot died in this movie, trying to protect Han from getting shot or getting clubbed to death. And don't worry, it's right. She's a guy, and she'll survive in the next movie. So, you have all these cars hanging by wires onto this giant cargo plane, which itself is filled with all kinds of bad guys and other vehicles too. So anyway, they The Rock ends up climbing into the plane by landing gear along with Tom Toretto. He ends up fighting the bad guy, and you see that the plane is starting to go down, and he throws Letty off right after she kills Gina Carrera with a harpoon gun, and rather than killing him herself, rather than The Rock killing her with the gun itself, she had Letty do it because I guess they started beef from early in the movie. She said, "You shouldn't have switched sides, bitch." And then The Rock says, "Yeah, you should listen to her." And she shoots him in the face, in the chest area, launches her out the window. She's dead. She fell out the door of a moving plane. That she toast. Letty jumps out along with The Rock, but Dominic has to take care of business with the guy. So he's back, goes up to the guy. After the plane crashes and everything, fire and death and all that, Dominic drives out of the car, out of a fire plane with the briefcase in his pocket in his car, and then flips the car over many times, and still survives with the briefcase. The briefcase is fine. So is he. A couple of later. But then he ends up giving it back to the law enforcement officer. It is the right thing to do. I never thought I would trust a cop, but he did the right. He trusted Brian, even though he knew that he was a cop. I thought I never trusted a cop. I never thought I'd be working with a criminal. And of course, they had to involve me in this little thing because she was taken as a hostage onto the plane. Now, I find it very funny that they did the same thing that they do with all pregnancies in these movies, and that once the baby comes out, the woman's hot again, pretty and thin and all that. But I know that if you, that's only if you're lucky. If, for most people, retain the pregnancy bodies until, several months after they give birth. If they don't, they work their butts off to get them back to man again. But in this movie, as well as many other movies, once the baby is out, she looks hot again. Joanna Brewster. So, I'm gonna say that she wasn't pregnant for this whole movie. I know she gave birth to a kid once before in real life, but in this movie, that's a friend trying to notice that everyone is back to normal again after a month or so. Which is not the case anyway. I mean, so, yeah. So they had that part driving around and stuff, saving people and all that in the car and stuff. So, yeah, they have Letty join one again. All the memories are just stored. And then they also have a big barbecue cookout again, like they do for every one of these movies. They have beer and barbecue food, all of that. So it was a very happy ending. all the song, Ride or Die. I think I went back to the exhibit, but it was pretty good to, see, well, okay. And the guy is killed, and he's killed in the movie. So, all the crew is dead. And it was like really to see all the people in tuner cars go up against army vehicles. That was a cool little distinction, because usually you associate the army with good guys, and tuner cars with like miscreants, bad people, and all that. That was really funny. Let's see what else is there. Oh yeah, the end credit sequence involved Han doing his Tokyo Drift stick, and then being killed, but not by DK, but by Jason Statham. He gets shot, or maybe the car just pulls up, and she's like the really big bad guy in the movie. And then he calls Dominic Toretto on the phone. You don't know me, but you will. Click. And that was like something really, really nice. So for the next movie in franchise, number 7. Lucky number 7. So yeah, I like this movie. Even though some of the scenes are obscene and absurd as far as reality goes and physics go. It was, some of the scenes were pretty much like a cartoon, in which they had the dog, and they had the dog running on a leash, and then the dog goes, like when he gets choked out by the leash being run out. It reminded me of the tank. Then, in fact, there was a problem with the airplane being able to take off because it took too many vehicles' weight. I would think that a heavy duty plane like that would be able to take on multiple tanks. And the only reason why the guy died was because the main bad guy died because he when he ran up against Vin Diesel. And number 2 is because he crashed into a concrete barrier along with his ram car girlfriend there in the climax. And he died in the same car that he did. So while he trying to say that women are bad drivers, man, I don't think that's true. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. And I like the badass sense of saying Vin Diesel and The Rock fighting with each other this time, rather than against each other. It was a very groovy movie. And may I just say that this movie, along with the other movie I watched recently, you don't scratch per se, but when they get damaged, the DVD quality takes a real hit because they get blurry, they get digitized, and they just kind of unpleasant to watch with multicolor and all that stuff happening. So I don't know what that was about. But, that big Planet Escape from the Planet of the Apes was a lot blurry that I shot beside this. Anyway, I would like to thank you for watching my video on The Fast and the Furious Part 6. Fast and Furious 6 was actually pretty good because when you hear your family like Olive Garden, God do I miss the place, the Olive Garden. Anyway, yeah, this is for my birthday month in June 2025 because I like these movies. I like car movies. I like the actors involved, and just in general vibe of good viewings in this. I like Mia. I like Brian. I like Dominic. I like The Rock. Of course, I like everybody in this movie. Even that guy was compelling. Carrera did a very good job. And I like the way Miss Letty kicked the butt twice. It gets to show how much of a badass he is. And as such, I give this movie my happy piece zero approval. Good, because this movie is very testosterone based and it's very fun. Even though some of the stunts are outlandish. And the superhero jumps around as a rap stupid. And the same goes for some of the driving sequences, like the airplane part. It's kind of outlandish and out there. So yeah, if you like what you see here, you want to see more of my videos, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also contact me for any future stuff in my future videos by calling me or texting me at call me or text me at my number at 631-707-3707. And if you'd like to know it, reach me, you can follow me on Twitter or X if you prefer at PMelson Also, you can get my email at jjsviewingtalk@gmail.com. So, all the actors in this movie, all you guys and girls who like all the Fast and the Furious movies, even though they're kind of outlandish and kind of unbelievable. I mean, I would think that they would have like protection out on Mia and the kids and all that before all this happened. I like a protection against like someone that wanted to kill them or do something to them. But yeah. Peeps at my brothers such as sayonara to all you girls and guys in Instant Land. Aloha and ciao ciao. See you in the next video.